पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, welcome to the Bhaktyaloka series. We have started the discussion on the 6 qualities which surely assure complete success in pure devotional service, beginning with Utsa. Utsa Niścaya Dhairya Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyagat Sato Vrittehe Shadabhir Bhaktihi Prashuddhati. So, yesterday we began the discussion on Niścaya. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that first one should, if you have doubts, then you don't have confidence in the Lord and the process of devotional service or the goal of devotional service also. Sometimes the goal of devotional service means also the means to attain that goal. That is abhidheya. So that's why you're not so determined to practice the abhidheya nicely also. So that also means both are related in one sense. So we started discussion yesterday and we quoted this Samshayatma Vinashati among the three. One who has faith in the scriptures but has no faith that he'll attain the goal. And that's why he's not able to practice the means to attain that goal. So like that, it is connected. And we also went through Baldev Dabushan's commentary, Prabhupada's commentary. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that if there are doubts, there is no firm conviction in the heart. And faithful living entities are doubtless. They don't doubt Krishna's statements in the Gita. And that's why to become free from doubts, one has to understand Sambandha Abhidheya Prayojan. And within that, there are these 10 truths. So we yesterday recited this verse from Dashamula Pattu. Amnaya Praha Tattvam. How within this, three things, there are these 10 truths. One is Praman, 9 are Pramayas. The first 7 Pramayas deal with Sambandha. The 8th deals with Abhideya. And the 9th deals with Prayojan. These 9 plus 1, 10. And we discussed, the Drishtanta given. The Krishna, out of mercy, has given the Vedas. And within the Vedas, there is a Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan. But Mahaprabhu has given the, again in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this comes that how, even the Vedas give the right direction by the spiritual master, but what is that right process? What is the conclusion of the Vedas? So that is, not karma, not jnana, not yoga, but bhakti. So having established this, first, the first Dashamula Tattva, Shabda Praman is the highest. He discusses how the Shabda Praman is highest. Then how Lord Hari is the only worshipable Lord. Hari Paravam Taptam Tattvam. And then Sarva Shaktiman and Rasabdim. I think yesterday we have finished up till Rasabdim. Now, Jiva Binnams. Jivas are part and parcel of Krishna and are innumerable. So this is the fifth Dashamula Tattva. While considering the fourth reality, so this is the fifth Dashamula Tattva and the fourth Pramaya, which is derived from the Praman. From the Vedas, we come to a conclusion that the Jivas are Binnamsha. While considering the fourth reality, the Amne says that the living entity are minute particles of the spiritual son Krishna and they are innumerable. As the spiritual world is manifested by Krishna's chitta or spiritual potency, and as the material world is manifested by the illusionary, inferior illusionary, similarly, the living entities are manifested by a portion of the spiritual energy. They are manifested by a portion of the spiritual energy. Krishna's spiritual form has all qualities in full, and those qualities are naturally present in the living entities in minute quantity. So there are 50 qualities. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami in the southern division discusses this. There are 50 qualities. And the Lord possesses these 50 qualities in full. In full. We have to remember that. He possesses these 50 qualities in full. Whereas the Jivas, Bindu Bindu Taya, in very minute proportions he possesses. The independent nature of Krishna is found insignificantly in the living entities because Krishna also is Swarat. So, and these qualities there, but it is insignificantly. For this reason, the living entities claim to be independent. As a result, all living entities have developed different propensities. Why one propensity, the living entity search for his own happiness, and by another propensity, he searches for Krishna's happiness. So when the living entity searches for his own happiness, he is in the material energy. And when he searches for Krishna's happiness, he is practicing Shuddha Bhakti, he is in the spiritual energy. Thus, living entities are divided into two groups, those searching for their own happiness and those searching for Krishna's happiness. Those who search for Krishna's happiness are called Nitya Mukta. So that is the difference. And those who search for their own happiness are called Nityabadha. In this regard, all inconceivable natures are under the subordination of the spiritual time. So the inconceivable natures are under the subordination of spiritual time, not material time. So there are living entities who are searching for their own happiness, who are searching for Krishna's happiness. They are called as Nityabadha, and these are called as the Nitya Mukta. The time factor of the spiritual nature is the state of eternal present. But in the inferior illusion, there are three states of existence: past, present, and future. Originally, Kal is the spiritual Shakti of the Lord. It's one of the Shaktis. And the Kala there in the spiritual world is having a spiritual nature, and that's why it's called a spiritual time. And it is always eternally present, But that, when it is there in the material world, it has the states of past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. Now, we cannot understand spiritual time because we are conditioned and we are having experience of past, present, and future. When it happened, you cannot ask that when, because time is eternally present in the spiritual world. So there's no question of when, When you say when means you're referring to past. So that's why it's very difficult for us to understand spiritual time. So whatever considerations arise in this regard, if related to spiritual time factor, then no doubts will remain. But if seen otherwise, then doubts will remain. Why did a pure spirit soul search for his own happiness? If one puts forward such questions, then doubts arising from the material time factor will manifest. So, if you ask this question, why did the pure spirit soul search for his own happiness? You know, this is part of spiritual time, spiritual nature. Then doubts about material time factor will come because this is within the material realm. So that is why such kind of an inquiry doesn't yield, and it will lead to more and more doubts, and one becomes very cynical, and it's like putting brakes to your own spiritual progress. If one can give up such doubts, then he can perform devotional service. Otherwise, there will only be a series of arguments. Like, the creation is going in a cycle. Mahavishnu exhales, universes come out, and then he inhales, universes go in. And this is going in a cyclic thing. Now, at what point, you entered first time in the universe? If you ask first time, that first time, it is going on in a circle. So, which, point you started the circle, if you try to figure out, it's not going to yield any fruits. So that's why it will only lead to arguments. So you have to understand that न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचन नायम भूत्वा भवितो न भूय अजो नित्य शाश्वतो यम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरा. So the soul doesn't have any past, present, or future. It is nitya, shashvata, because it exists beyond the time and space, because it is eternal. And that's why it comes from the eternal realm. But when it comes in the material world, then the time factor has the states of past, present, and future. So it becomes conditioned by that. And that's why we ask these kind of conditioning questions. If arguments are related to the inconceivable nature, then anarthas arise. Please mark this. It is inconceivable to the human intellect how the spiritual time is working. And if arguments, you start arguing on this, then your anarthas will increase. And that's why there can be a lot of debates happening and, wars happening, wars of arguments can happen. So this will all lead to only anarthas. So that's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur just mentions about that. Then the jivas are bhinnamsha, but there are two categories Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned, Nitya Baddha and the Nitya Mukta. So now he speaks about the Nitya Bhakta, which is the sixth Dashamula Tattva and the fifth Pramaya. Nitya Baddha jivas accept Maya and suffer in this world. Maya Kavalitan. The teachings of the Amnaya regarding the fifth reality is this: the living entities who are searching for their own happiness accept Maya, who is situated nearby, and thus enjoy happiness and distress under the grip of material time. They come under the Kala Shakti. Karma is nothing but a blind wheel created by Maya. Those who have not contacted Maya have no connection with karma. The living entities who are searching for their own pleasure receive from the wheel of karma gross and subtle bodies as a means to enjoy. So, in the creation, if you remember that when the Lord glances at Pradhan, he impregnates jivas, the jivas with sabhava, vasanas, and the Kala Shakti. And this Pradhan, which Maya or Durga The Pradhan, gives the gross and subtle bodies so that the jivas can enjoy. This blind wheel is found in unlimited forms, but just as it was easy for a living entity to enter, it will be easy to leave at the time of liberation. Very interesting. We get unlimited forms in this material world, form of elephant, tiger, devata. But just as it is easy to enter, it is easy to also leave. We have to give up our attachment to Maya, that's it. The living entities who are under the blind wheel of Maya are called Nitya Baddha. That's it. Now the next, Nitya Mukta. The Nitya Mukta Jiva is free from the influence of material nature. In this regard, the word Nitya is applied in regard to material time. When by the touch of spiritual substance, the spiritual time factor is awakened, then their conditioned nature is seen as temporary. So, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryansha Samya Bhak. So, at the stage of Bhava, the Jiva is endowed with the Samvit potency and the Ladini potency. And the Jiva, even in the conditioned stage, that's why even if he's dying, he doesn't want to die because he knows at heart he is eternal. So that happens of the body, but the soul doesn't die. The soul is eternal. The soul changes from one body to another body. So at the stage of bhava, the spiritual time factor is awakened by the touch of spiritual substance, that is the Shakti of the Lord. And then the conditioned's nature is seen as temporary. So he no more identifies with the temporary gross and material body, and he realizes this whole material world is the play of the Lord. It is his, Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimai. As it is mentioned in 111. Janmadhyasya to anvayaditarastu charteshu abhigna swarat tene brahmaridayadikavaye muyyanti yatsurayo tejo varim mridam yata vinamayo yatra trisargo mrisham. So this whole material world is trisarga mrisha. It's a mrisha. It's a creation. But he is now awakened to his original constitutional position. So dhamna svena sadana rasta kuhakam satyam param diham. By the mercy of the sadhus, Mahajans, and Krishna, and by the strength of many lifetimes of pious activities and devotional service, the conditioned soul achieves auspiciousness. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22:45 and Srimad Bhagavatam 10:51-53. Samsara shayonmukh hoy sadhu sangatabe Krishna rati upajaya. By good fortune, one becomes eligible, kono bhagya, to cross the ocean of Niścaya, kara samsara. And when one's term of material existence decreases, shayan mukha hoy. Shaya means his time to get released from the jail comes. One may get an opportunity to associate with pure devotees, sadhu sangatabe. By such association, one attraction to Krishna is awakened. Krishna rati upajaya. Very, very interesting verse this is. Kono bhagya kari. By great fortune. And what is that fortune? That fortune itself is that, we get the association of the devotee, pure devotee. And by associating with the pure devotee, then our fortune arises. And we cross the ocean of nescience. It's very interesting here. It is a meditation, and I will further take that meditation when we take the next reference. Bhavo pargo brahmato yada bhavij janasya tarhi achut sat samagamah satsangamo yarhi tadaiva sadgato paravareshe tvai jayate mati. O my Lord, O infallible Supreme Person, Achyuta. When a person, Janasya Tarhi, wandering throughout the universe becomes eligible for liberation from material existence, Bhavo Parga Brahmato Yadha Bhavej, he gets an opportunity to associate with devotees. Sat Sama Gama. When he associates with devotees, Sat Sangamo Yari, his attraction for you is awakened. Jayate Mati. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Paravaresha Tvai, the highest goal of the topmost devotees of the Lord of the universe. Tadaiva Sad Gato. Now, have you observed something interesting in this verse and this verse quoted? Something is strange. What is that? Anyone can raise your hand and tell us what is that? Anyone? Think about it. I'm just again reading this verse. Please carefully hear. By good fortune, one becomes eligible, kono bhagya, to cross the ocean of nescience, karo samsara. And when one's term of material existence decreases, shayon mukha, one may get an opportunity to associate with pure devotee, sadhu sanga tabe. By such association, one attraction for Krishna is awakened. And the same verse in Bengali in the Madhyam Chaitanya Charitamrita is there in the Bhagavatam. O Lord, O infallible person, when a person, Janasyatari, wandering throughout the universe becomes eligible for liberation from material existence, Bhavaparaga Brahmato Yada Bhavaj, he gets the opportunity to associate with devotees, Sat Samagama. And when he associates with devotees, his attraction is awakened. This is same Chaitanya Charitamrita says. And further, only just addition is that you are the Supreme Personality Godhead, the highest goal for the topmost devotees of the Lord of the universe. That's it is said. But very similar they are. But something strange is there in this verse. What is it? Something which is really very contradictory is there. Anyone would like to point it out? Raise your hands. Anyone? I'll once again read at least the Chaitanya Charitamrita. By good fortune, one becomes eligible to cross over the ocean of nescience. When one's term of material existence decreases, how? Then one may get an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. By such association, one attraction for Krishna is awakened. So, anyone? Chakra Rama Prabhuji. Yes, let us see. Yeah.
The word our material existence decreases. When
Oh,
one's terms of material existence decreases, this is very awkward. I mean, one could start when you know it, start from there. Your material existence is decreasing, then only you are getting a
okay.
good fortune.
Okay. That is quite okay, but still something more. Yes, anyone else would like to also try? Yes, please raise your hand so that I can. Yes, anyone else? Priya Mataji, you would like to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat. Sorry, Prabhuji, the network was low. What is your question? Like,
Okay. Here it is mentioned by good fortune, one crosses the material science and his term of materialized existence decreases when one may get an opportunity to associate with sadhus, and by that association, one gets attraction to Krishna. So something contradictory is being mentioned both in the Chaitanya Charitamrita verse and Bhagavatam verse. Anyone? It is difficult, I know. So I'll explain what it is. When one's good fortune arises, he meets sadhus. And by meeting sadhus, then his term of material existence decreases and he attains liberation. But both the verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Bhagavatam are mentioning that when good fortune comes, he first attains liberation, it is mentioned, and then he attains sadhu sangha, and by that sadhu sangha, he attains rati. Similarly, here you see, when a person wandering, he becomes eligible for liberation, and then he gets opportunity to associate with sadhu, and with that association, he attains rati. But actually, what is the sequence? When a person becomes fortunate, he attains sadhu sangha and attains attraction for Krishna, and by that, he becomes eligible for liberation. So, the thing is reversed here, both in this verse of the Bhagavatam and in the Madhya, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya verse, just to explain the glory of Sadhu Sangha. What is the glory of the Sadhu Sangha? That is the glory of Sadhu Sangha. So that is why, it is reversed. Sometimes this is in Kavya Shastra as it comes, and it is called as a special type of alankar, which I'm not able to remember now. It is there. It is a special type of alankar. So that is what is being mentioned here. By the association of sadhus, material distress is vanquished, and by the mercy of Krishna, one attains firm faith. Then, by the strength of his devotional service and Krishna's mercy, a living entity cuts the bondage of Maya, attains Krishna's service. By the mercy of Krishna, the Baddha, Mukta Jivas, those who achieve freedom from bondage, easily attain Salok, the abode of Krishna, with those who have never entered into Maya because of searching for Krishna's happiness. So that's what he, discusses about the Nitya Mukta. Okay. Any questions you have, you are free to raise your hands. Huh? Now I'm going to the 8th Dashamula Tattva. Krishna and other things are connected by the relationship of Achinta Vedabhed. Krishna and Jiva, Krishna and Prakriti. The conclusion of Avnay regarding the 7th reality is this. This is the 7th Pramaya and the 8th Dashamula Tattva. Lord Krishna and all other things are connected by the relationship of Achinta Vedabhed, inconceivably, simultaneously one and different. That is why the Vedas have many statements supporting oneness and supporting difference, Bheda and Abheda. So in the Vedas, you'll find many statements which speak about Bheda, and there are many statements which speak about Abheda. But some philosophers, especially the Shankara line, they only emphasize on the Abheda, not the Bheda. So that is one extreme. And, Madhvacharya focuses on Bheda. That's why this is two, But in between is the Achinta Bheda Bhed. There is simultaneously one and difference. In the conclusion of those ignorant of the Vedas, only a portion of the Vedas are accepted. They accept only the portion. In the conclusion of the knowers of the truth, the purport of all the Vedas is accepted. So some only take the Bheda and, accept that portion as conclusion. Some take the Abheda and take that portion of the Vedas and come to a conclusion. But those who are knowers of the truth, they accept all the purports of the Vedas. Those who have a thirst for worshipping the Lord learn from the teaching of the Amneya that Lord Krishna is all pervading and one without a second. Advaya. Shri Krishna is the absolute truth. That absolute truth possesses all energies. Although the living entities and the material world are manifested by his energies, still he remains one without a second. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. The ingredients are constitutionally non-different from Krishna, but in the material creation, everything other than Krishna is a transformation of his energy and therefore eternally separate from him. Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. It is a transformation of his energy. His energy transforms. He doesn't transform. Please remember that. This eternal oneness and difference is naturally inconceivable because it is beyond the range of the living entity's material intelligence. That is why it is said, not Bheda Bheda Tattva, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva it is. It is inconceivable. When the living entity's spiritual intelligence is awakened, pure knowledge of the inconceivable oneness and difference is aroused. So with material intelligence, we cannot understand. But when the intelligence is completely spiritualized, and we have discussed what this spiritual intelligence is, if you remember, in one of the articles in the Bhaktyaloka. Keeping firm faith in the statements of Amna and by the mercy of Krishna and the devotees can clearly see the truth of the inconceivable oneness and difference. If we use material considerations to understand this, it becomes theoretical. When one achieves knowledge of these seven realities through self-realization by the strength of Amnaya, then it may be said that one has Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of one's relationship with the Lord. In reply to Srila Sanatana Goswami's question, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has elaborately spoken on the science of one's relationship with the Lord. So this is there again in the Sanatana Shiksha Image. As given in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, Ke ami keno amaya jara tapatroy ihana jani ke mana hitahoy. So this is one of the questions put forth by Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami. And who am I? Why do the threefold miseries always give me trouble? If I do not know this, how can I be benefited? Kemana hit hoy. So in this context, Mahaprabhu gave, Sambandhigyan of the Jiva, of the Lord and the Prakriti. The Jiva, which is now, trying to enjoy this Prakriti, that's why he's facing the threefold miseries. But the Jiva is part and parcel of the Lord. So the relationship between the Jiva and the Lord, the relationship between the Jiva and the Prakriti, the relationship between the Prakriti and the Lord. So all these three constitute Sambandha Gyan. Those persons who want the greatest benefit in the form of achieving devotion to Krishna should all ask these questions to their spiritual master. So this Sambandha Gyan is very, very, very important. This is the foundational knowledge which one should start in their practice of Krishna consciousness. By hearing the proper answers to these questions from the mouth of one's guru, all one's doubts will be cleared and firm faith will awaken. Do not give up deliberation as useless. One should do vichar, chintan on these questions. Otherwise, doubts will remain and doubts will act as a stumbling block and one will not have firm faith. One will not have firm faith. That is the point. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Siddhanta boliya chitta na kare alas, ya hai te Krishna lage sudrida manas. A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them controversial. For such discussions strengthen the mind, thus one's mind becomes attached to Krishna. Siddhanta boliya, because Siddhanta is difficult, so many contradicting statements. But one should hear from the mouth of the Guru and it will become clear. Chit na kare alas. Don't have alas. Ya haite. By such discussions, lage, Krishna lage sudridamans. Your mind will become attached to Krishna. Now see, among 10 relatives, the first 8 are related with the authority and one's relationship with the Lord. The first one is pramana, that is amnaya. And the other 7 are, about sambandha. Okay. Now, these 7 realities which are derived from the Amnaya Vedas, whether you're deriving, is there any proof for it? So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives proofs for the first 8 tattvas. One will receive all information from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's answer to Sanatana Goswami. Regarding authority, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20:124. All this is there. Veda Shastra kahe sambandh abhiday prayojan, Krishna prapya sambandha, bhakti prapya sadhana. The Vedic literatures give information about the living entity's internal relationship with Krishna, which is called Sambandh. The living entity's understanding of this relation and his acting according to is called Abhidaya. Returning home back to Godhead is the ultimate goal of life and is called provision. So regarding authority, Veda Shastra. Veda Shastra gives this Sambandha Abhidaya provision. Regarding the second basic truth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20, 152, 155, 157. What is the second truth? That Hari Paramam, Krishna Swarupa Vichar Shuno Sanatan Advaya Jnana Tattva Vraje, Vrajendra Nandan. That absolute truth is Krishna. Oh Sanatan, please hear the eternal form of Lord Krishna. He is the absolute truth, devoid of devotee, but present in Vrindavan as the son of Nand Maharaj. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Govinda Paranam Sarvaishwarya Purnayandra Golok Nityadham. The original Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. His original name is Govinda. He is full of all opulences and his eternal abode is known as Golok Vrindavan. So, who is Bhagavan? What is his name? And where he resides? All three are here. Now, can you give any scriptural proof to prove that Hari is the absolute truth from the Bhagavatam? Can anyone give a proof that Lord Hari is the absolute truth from the Bhagavatam? Priya Mataji, yes.
Iti cha ancha kalapunsa Krishnastu Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Swayam.
Swayam. Excellent, excellent. Yes. Jnana Yoga Bhakti Tina Sadhanera Vashe Brahma Atma Bhagavan Trivida Prakashe. There are 3 kinds of spiritual processes for understanding the absolute truth. The process of speculative knowledge, mystic yoga and bhakti yoga. According to the 3 processes, the absolute truth is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Now, Sarva Shaktiman. This is the proof for the first 8 tattvas. Among that, now the third one. Regarding Krishna's energy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya. Krishnera Swabhavika Tina Shakti Pariniti Chit Shakti Jiva Shakti Aramaya Shakti. Lord Krishna naturally has 3 energetic transformations, and these are known as the spiritual potency, Chit Shakti, the living entity potency, Jiva Shakti, and the illusionary potency, Maya Shakti. Now, can anyone give me proof where in the Vedas or in the Upanishads there is proof that Lord has these Shaktis, possesses Shaktis? Anyone? Please try this. These 3 types of Shaktis the Lord possesses. Anyone? Jagdishwar Prabhuji?
I'm not able to recollect.
Okay. Anyone else? There is a famous verse, and I'm giving a hint, Swabhaviki, it is mentioned. So somewhere in some Upanishads also, this Praman is given. Now I've given you quite good amount of hint. Anyone would like to try? Sunita Mataji.
No, Prabhuji, I cannot.
Okay, Jagdishwar Prabhu wants to try once again. Yes, he has got the hint now, I think. Yeah.
So, that is there. Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriya Cha. That
What
sloka
is
is
the
there.
first line?
Vishnu Shakti, Parasha Shakti Vividhaiva Surya.
Yes, Parasha Shakti Vidide Shuvate, Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriya cha. And there are those three Shaktis also. Vishnu Puran quotes this. Vishnu Puran also it is there, in the Shvetashwar Upanishads also is there. Now, proof that Krishna is full of rasa, as explained in the Chaitanya by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 20:153. Sarvadi Sarvam Shri Kishora Shekhar Chitananda Deha Sarvashray Sarveshwar. Lord Krishna is the original source of everything and the sum total of everything. He appears as the supreme youth, and his whole body is composed of spiritual bliss. Chidananda Deha. He is the shelter of everything and the master of everyone. He is full of rasa. Can anyone give proof from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to prove that Krishna is full of rasa? Anyone? Akhila Rasamrita Murti. That invocation was Prasmare Ruddha Taraka Pali Khalita Shama Lalita Radha Prayan Vidunoti Jayati Vidu Jayati, something like that. So Krishna is Akhila Rasamrit Murti. So he is Kishore Shekhar, Rasika Shekhar he is. Now, the instruction of the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regarding the constitutional position of the living entity is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is the constitutional position of the living entity? Anyone? This is very famous verse. It is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Devotees should know this. The proof about what is the constitution. Anyone would like to try this? Nandini Mataji.
Prabhuji, Dasam was which shloka? I don't remember.
Well,
Shloka, I don't remember exactly.
but at least the translation you can tell in your own words. At least the translation should. Jivera Swarupa
Sarupa Krishnera Nityadas.
Krishnera Tatastha Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakash Suryamsh Kirana Hayache Agni Jwala Choy Swabhaviki Krishnera Tina Prakash Shakti Hai. It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of the Krishna because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and the manifestation simultaneously is one with and different from the Lord like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire. Krishna has three varieties of energy. So this is the proof. And now for the next. Regarding conditioned living entities, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the following description in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Se vibhinnamsha jiva doite prakar ekta nitya mukta eka nitya samsar Krishna bhuli se jiva anadi bahirmukh ataeva maya tare deha samsara dukh. Krishna bhuli. Now when did we forget Krishna? It is anadi. It is time immemorial. So there is no material time, what to speak of spiritual time, bahirmukh. And that's why we are caught in this Maya, and Maya is giving us dukh. The living entities are divided into two categories. Some are eternally liberated, some are eternally conditioned. Forgetting Krishna, the living entity has been attracted by the external feature from time immemorable. Therefore, the illusionary Maya gives him all kinds of misery in his material existence. Concerning the liberated living entities, the Lord says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nitya Mukta Nitya Krishna Charena Unmukh Krishna Parshada Nama Bhunje Seva Sukh. Those who are eternally liberated are always awake to Krishna consciousness and they render transcendental loving service at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Nitya Krishna Charana Unmukh. They are to be considered eternal associated to Krishna and they are eternally enjoying the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. Now, proof for Achintya Bheda Bhed. Regarding simultaneous one and difference, the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20:108. Already it was quoted 108 But again, it is being quoted now. Krishnera tatastha shakti bheda bheda prakash. Here it was quoted also, you can see. Yeah, Krishnera tatastha shakti bheda bheda prakash. So this line is speaking about Jiva Tattva, and the relation is next line. So next line only he quotes now. The living entity is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one and different from Krishna. Okay, so now we have completed what are the 8 Dashamula Tattvas and the proofs for 8 Dashamula Tattvas. Now the last part is the 9th Dashamula Tattva and the 10th Dashamula Tattva. The 9th is Shuddha Sadhanam Bhakti, and Sadhya Prayojan is Prem. Okay, so let us take this. When the living entity's relationship with the Lord is revived by the association of Amna, then Abhideya is understood. Devotional service to Krishna is that Abhideya. The purport is that whenever the scriptures specify as one's prime duty is called, whatever the scriptures specify as one's prime duty is called as Abhideya. Our prime duty is to serve the Supreme Lord. Our prime duty is not to serve this world, or the prime duty of the Jiva is this. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Chaitanya chapter, now there is a proof given for this. Krishna Bhakti hai Abhideya Pradhan, Bhakti Mukhya Nirikshaya Karma Yoga Dhyan, Eis Sab Sadhanera Ati Tucha Bal, Krishna Bhakti Vina Tahe Dete Nare Phal. Devotional service to Krishna is the chief function of the living entity. Abhideya Pradhan, Krishna Bhakti hai Abhideya Pradhan. There are different methods for liberation of the conditioned soul. Bhakti Mukha Nirikshaya means to become free from conditions. Karma, Jnana and Yoga. Karma, Yoga, Jnana and Bhakti. But all are dependent on Bhakti. Without devotional service, all other methods of spiritual self-realization are weak, ati tuchabal and insignificant. Unless one comes to devotional service of Lord Krishna, Gyan and Yoga cannot give their desired results. So, basically, this is a vast subject again. Madhurya Kadamini discusses this in detail, one entire chapter, that karma has a small element of bhakti in it. And that is why karma gives results. Without the bhakti element, karma cannot give results. Gyan also has bhakti element. And that's why Gyan gives the result of liberation. It's not that the Gyan sadhana gives the fruit of liberation. The bhakti element which is present in Gyan gives the fruit of liberation. Similarly in yoga. So ultimately, bhakti is the supreme. And by practice of bhakti, it will give the fruit of prema, and liberation is the byproduct. So the glory of bhakti has been established there in the Madhurya Kadamini, and here Prabhupada also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also makes the same thing. Sadhana bhakti is called Abhideya. That sadhana bhakti is divided into two, Vaidhi and Raganuga. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti has many varieties. In some places 64 limbs are given, in some places 9 limbs. 64 in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 9 limbs in the Bhagavatam verse, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. The preaching of ninefold devotional service is given in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So these are the ninefold process of devotional service. When a conditioned living entity engages his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna with his mind, body and words, it is called bhakti. The difference in bhakti and karma and jnana are very subtle. Many times the limbs of bhakti and karma appear similar. When those limbs are connected with separate desires, they turn into limbs of karma. When those limbs are connected with dry thoughts of Brahman, they turn into limbs of jnana. In some limbs, there is neither karma or gyan involved. The fruits of karma that lead one to the service of Krishna alone is called the limbs of bhakti. So there is some subtle difference he brings out between karma and gyan. When you perform even bhakti, but with separate desires, not with anya bilashita shunyam, then they turn as limbs of gyan. So this is mishra bhakti. It's not bhakti. Bhakti means bhakti. It is exclusively done for Krishna's pleasure. But that bhakti which is separate desires, then it is karma mishra bhakti or jnana mishra bhakti. Like that. The fruits of karma that lead one to his own enjoyment is called karma. The karma that leads one to merge with the Lord is called impersonal jnana. So the jnanis also are doing some actions, but their actions are with the desire for attaining liberation. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami has given the symptoms of bhakti in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhakti ruttama. When first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive actions. The devotees must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. That is Anya bilashita shunyam. Anukulena, constantly, Krishna Anushilanam, favorably, and devoid of material desires, Anyabhilashita Shunyam, or knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive action, Jnana Karmadya Anavritam. Okay, again, we cannot go into this detailed discussion on the definition of pure devotional service, which is part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. To perform the limbs of devotional service according to the dictations of Vidhi or prescribed rules is called as Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Vidhi ke anusar Vaidhi. The service performed out of spontaneous attachment to Krishna is called Raga Bhakti. The devotion of the Vrajvasis is called Ragatmika, and imitation of their devotional service is called Raganuga. Following in the footsteps of Ragatmikas, that Bhakti is Raganuga. Vaidhi Bhakti starts from Shraddha and proceeds up to Rati, when it becomes one with Raganuga. Raganuga Bhakti is always forceful. This is the ninth principle. Now the last one, Prema Prayojan. That is quite simple and clear. Prema Prayojan. According to the statements of Amnaya, the 10th principle is that Prema is the Prayojan, the supreme goal. The stages from sadhana bhakti up to the attainment of prema are described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. कोनो भाग्य कोनो जीवेर श्रद्धा यदि होय तबे से जीव साधु संग करे तक के ये साधु संग ये कराय. If by good fortune the living entity develops faith in Krishna, he begins to associate with devotees. Sadhu sanga hoyte hoy shravana kirtan sadhana bhakti hoy sarvanartha nivartan. When one is encouraged in devotional service by the association of devotees, one becomes free from all unwanted contamination by following the regulative principles and chanting and hearing. Anartha nivriti hoyle bhakti nishta hoya, nishta hoyte shavanadya ruchi objaya. When one is freed from all unwanted contamination, he advances with firm faith. When firm faith in devotional service awakens, a taste for hearing and chanting also awakens. So please know this. When one is freed from all anarthas, bhakti nishta hoye, he advances with firm faith. So that is Naishtiki Shraddha. And that Naishtiki Shraddha, when firm faith in devotional awakens, taste for hearing and chanting also awakens. So from Nishta onwards, the bhakti becomes pure. Ruchi. रुचि होते भक्ते होय आसक्ति प्रचुर आसक्ति होते चित्त जन्मे कृष्ण प्रीति अनुकूर. As after taste is awakened, a deep attachment, asakti, and from attachment, a seed of love for Krishna grows in the heart. Asakti hoite janme Krishna priti ankur, a seed. Sei bhava gad hoile dhare prema nam. Say prema prayojana sarvananda dham. When that ecstatic emotional stage intensifies, it is called love of Godhead. Such love is life's ultimate goal and the reservoir of all pleasure. Now he is concluding. Those who have doubts in these 10 principal teachings of Chinarma are not qualified for devotional service. So, one should repeatedly study Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. One should repeatedly study all these truths, which is all there in the Gita, Upadeshamrit, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Chaitanya Charitamrit. All this when we study and all our doubts are cleared, then we have Niścaya. With that confidence, we can endeavor and make progress. When doubts arise, one's devotional service becomes corrupted, desires are polluted, unwanted results are achieved, and everything is ruined. Therefore, those who have desire for pure devotional service should perform devotional service with those who have desire for pure devotional service. For them, it is very, very pertinent that they understand this Dashamula Tattva. So that's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur ends this article. Okay, any questions anyone has? Okay, one question. Only one question is there, so I'm only going to take this one question. Nandini Mataji, yes?
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, the ninth the ninth point, the last statement, Raghunaga Bhakti is always forceful, something like that. I didn't understand that.
Raganuga Bhakti is always forceful means, just like, in the conditioned state, the Vegas force you to enjoy the senses. So the rag within will push you. It will develop, you will be having deep attraction for spiritual sense objects, anything related to Krishna. So that is what it means.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone has? Okay, so we have completed Niścaya. So tomorrow we'll start with Utsaha Niścaya, Dhairya. Dhairya will start tomorrow. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Hare Krishna.